Sir, side please. Emergency official business. Ma'am, side please. Side please. Thank you. Official business, sir. Ma'am, emergency. Please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I am the Hot Toys Wizard's brothers, cousins, sisters, uncles, grandfather's son. So I have some of the power of the Hot Toys Wizard. And you have to wonder, do I have even better information than the Hot... Oh, this coffee thing again. As I was saying, do I have even... Stop with the damn coffee, whoever's doing that. Do I have even... Oh, let's just dive into this right now. Welcome to another show. Do I have the real Hot Toys Wizard with me? It's the Star Wars Newsman. What's going on, my friend? I don't know who that guy was, but the last few shows, the supposed cousin of the Hot Toys Wizard, like his cousin's brother's uncle, something has been in here, but I don't know. I don't feel like he has the same mojo as the Hot Toys Wizard. But anyway.
Are you sure there's nothing alive in that beard that he had on? Did you pull aside any of the hairs to see if there might be rodents or maybe a large colony of wasps in there somewhere,
or perhaps some pre-orders, right?
Yeah,
so
it would be nice to find a few of those in there if they do exist.
Yes, maybe some stock, that's lost, maybe at the ports, maybe in the ocean somewhere.
All of our figures are bobbing on a boat somewhere out off of the Pacific Southwest, aren't they?
And well, maybe Bo-Katan is in the Hot Toys Wizard's cousin's brother's beard. They're saying now it's September to October, and I thought it was earlier. You and I were talking about that backstage, but
I'm looking at my. I bought it through Sideshow Aries, and it's still on my back room. It still says that Bo-Katan Kryze is expected to ship between April 2022 and June 2022. I think it missed that window. I think it did.
I think it missed that window, but if you go to actually to it did. And listen, before we actually dive in, we got so much to dive into. Welcome everybody. You're watching the Market Show live. I'm on tonight live. It is Wednesday. I had no opportunity to advertise this. I think I just put it on Instagram. I think I put it on my channel. I didn't even get a chance to put it on Facebook. Oh well, I'll tell you what. I'll let all of you out there spread the word around that the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, who serves up all the Star Wars Hot Toys Talk, and Hot Toys Talk is live. I'll leave it up to all of you to do that with my good friend here, Brent, the Star Wars Newsman. I hope a lot of you remember Brent from the panel that we had a few weeks ago when I started back on the Saturday shows. Brent, it is so good, buddy, to have you in here again. I really enjoyed having you on the last show.
I'm thrilled to join you whenever I'm able to. I'll be here to be on a panel with you or to have discussions about Star Wars 6 scale stuff. I've been living and breathing it pretty much for the past 15 years, and I don't see myself giving it up anytime soon, nor do you. So I am here whenever you need me, my friend.
Absolutely. And listen, and it's so great to have you in here. I'm looking forward to having you in here way more often. And for those of you that missed, you'll have to go back and watch the show. The Star Wars newsman, Brent, he's kind of responsible for, Star Wars night in sports, which is something that I actually do in my, martial arts thing that I do with my team and some of the fighters I coach. And I have that whole story in there in the show that you were on. Maybe real quick, and like you could just say it real quick again, Brent. There's actually an article. I was looking at an article that was talking about you, the Star Wars newsman. God, you've been in broadcasting for, I don't know what it was. I don't want to reveal your age, but I'm going to say 30 years, 40 years. But yeah, tell us maybe a little bit real quick for those that didn't know.
Yeah, 31 years. I've been a sports anchor, news anchor, sports reporter, news reporter for local TV affiliates in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm originally from Muskegon, Michigan, so I'm not that far from home. So it was fun spending 31 years doing the kind of work that I loved right in my hometown, basically. And my passion for Star Wars has existed since I was 9 years old and stood outside the theater in 1977 when it was line was wrapped around the building to get in to see it. I was one of those kids, and it's just hard when that starship comes over, right out of the gate, you're done. You're so sucked in to that universe, and I like you have not gotten out of it. And I started Star Wars nights at sporting events, and it was at the West Michigan Whitecaps baseball game in 2006. I'm a member of the 501st Costuming Legion, and I didn't understand why this group of people wasn't married to baseball. So I went and talked to the powers that be there, and they did the night, and it was a roaring success. And ever since the summer of 2006, at that little, single A baseball game in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it has now blown up, and it's all over the world, certainly all over the United States. Every baseball team, even at the major league level, NBA teams are doing it. The Detroit Red Wings did a Star Wars night this past season. And It's just kind of amazing to think that I'm the one that started that. I mean,
thank God for you, bro. Thank God you started it.
So yeah, I mean, I think other entities, like you said, your martial arts. I mean, would that be happening if it wasn't for that moment in 2006 that kind of got the snowball started at the top of the hill, and it's just grown bigger and bigger and bigger and gained more momentum?
No, absolutely. And you know what? It's coffee spilling. It's worth one of these as I fill up, Table Oblivion. And Brent, I think everybody heard that story. You do have a little bit of lag, but I think it'll work out. Sometimes that happens in here, but we heard everything that you said there. But but no, that's a great story. Starting the Star Wars night. He's also collaborated with Mark Hamill. You can go back and listen to that story on Twitter, working together. I know that both of you follow each other. So listen, if I ever need to get a message out to Mark, I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, the Dark Jedi, Aries from Hot Toys, he's got a question, baby.
I will do my best to message it to him and see if I can connect you to him if that's possible. But that was a fun experience too, to be able to work with him on a story. That was pretty amazing. And it being a Star Wars story at that. So it was very fun.
Well, and Collector Chris wants to know, Aries, what do they call this guy? I think the better question is, Collector Chris, is this what they call you, baby?
They call him the Wizard.
Welcome everybody in here. Let's say hi. We're going to say hi, Brent, to some of the people who are in here. Good to have you in here, Collector Chris. Charlie the Unicorn's in here. What is up? Good to have you in here. Thule, what is up? The big dog pound. So I got to do this. Got the Ric Flair. So, woo! And I could never do it as good as the Nature Boy. But listen, I love trying in honor of the Nature Boy one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Mark Attack, Cantina Insider, you are in here. What is going on? Good to have you in here, my friend. In the Market Chart Show with special guest, the Star Wars Newsman is in here for sure. Lane Kramer says the Dark Jedi is back. I never went anywhere, baby. Gosh, I was live, Lane. When was I live? Maybe he's got a point. No, I was live Saturday, and you have to wonder, Lane, is it possible that I was also live on Sunday, 2 days in a row? And I say yes, but I haven't been on since then. But here you go. I'm here now. Broderick, what is going on? Good to have you in here. My special guest, Brent, Star Wars Newsman. Always love new faces in the cantina. Well, you've been in here before, Brent. You've been in here before on the paddle a few weeks ago, so always good to have you back. I'm going to miss some of you in here, but keep going ahead and chat again. See the super chat. We're going to get to them. Thank you so much for the support. Single songwriter, a large swath of pre-orders. Yeah, we're going to get into that with Brent here coming up on that for sure. Dan S. The intro totally reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live. You have to wonder. Night of Red, what's going on? Good to have you in here. Welcome everybody who's in here. Keep going in there in the chat. And OG fan with the super chat with the $5 drop. So right off the bat, you dropped the bomb on me, baby. Let me go ahead and drop it back on you. So OG fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars, thank you so much for your support, asks, shout out to a fellow Michigander Great Lakes Garrison represents. Must have all Boba Fett's. Boba Fett is the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Mr. Brent, I'll let you shout back out to him.
No, I wish I knew who that was, because Great Lakes Garrison is the name of the 501st Legion here in Michigan that we're a part of. And the Great Lakes Garrison is what started the Star Wars Nights back in 2006. So it'd be nice that, I mean, obviously this person knows me. I'd love to know who that is. I'm sure they've come to many of my events that I've pulled together, Star Wars Nights here in Grand Rapids and throughout the state. So whoever you are, may the force be with you. Glad you're here.
That is the OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars. We have to fill him up because he is a huge Boba Fett fan. And let's fill him up at Table Oblivion with Boba himself.
I'm Boba Fett. I'm here to see the mayor.
Boba Fett. Do you have an appointment?
OG fan, I really do appreciate the support there, my friend, for sure. Always appreciate that, and always good having you in here, my friend. And we got a lot in here telling me to fill you up. I will get to it, but let's leave this this super chat up here for a minute for one of my great supporters in here. Everyone in here is a fantastic, great supporter. OG fan, also a Cantina Insider. Shout out to OG fan as a Cantina Insider as well. And as I pull up some of the screen over here, let me go ahead and pull this up onto the screen. So this is 6scalecantina.com. And if you don't have 6scalecantina.com bookmarked, you just may want to consider doing so. It has all the latest information on everything on the secondary market for Star Wars hot toys, figures that are trending up, figures that are trending down. If they're steady, what the price is as well. We have the Marvel Hot Toys market value chart under construction. You could check that out in the Marvel value chart tab. So looking forward to getting that fully up and running. What a task that is. Also, all the information on what's going on the channel. Like if you bookmarked it here, you can see the current banner, Hot Toys Market Show. We've got the New York Comic Con logo on the banner. We're going to be talking about what Brent and I think are going to be could be revealed there. We had some whoppers last year on that for sure. We also got Darkside Anakin on the cover. We've got, gosh, table 44. I don't have to say anymore on the cover. Look at that prototype white Boba Fett. We got a lot of stuff to discuss here for sure within the show coming up today. Continuing to gotcha here. Moving down to this moving and still this didn't correct on here that I wanted to kind of update this. I was doing it with you backstage, Brent, but let's actually go to the best sellers on Sideshow and continue with the Bo-Katan. So your order, Brent, is still saying coming out. Do you say May or June?
It says expect to ship April 22 - June 22 when I go to my personal orders page through sideshowcollectibles.com. So that has not updated, and I don't recall getting an update or an email from Sideshow telling me that particular figure has been delayed. Now, other people might have gotten it, but I was one of the. I mean, I pre-ordered that figure within minutes after it went up available. I didn't wait, so I don't know if I may have gotten it and it went to my junk. I mean, I guess that can happen to a lot of people. I didn't check there, but normally I get all those emails clean right into my inbox, and that particular one never came. So where is Bo? We need that figure. It'd be nice to get some of these figures that, were announced a year ago, a little over a year ago, we're not seeing any of those come through yet. And, I think a lot of people are getting a little bit antsy. They'd like to add these to their shelves in their rooms.
I totally agree. So I'm pulling this up onto the screen here with the Bo-Katan create cries. And on here, it's very interesting you say that because actually, and I didn't hear of anyone getting a notification, and everybody in the chat, let us know if you've gotten any notification that it was delayed. But as you can see here, Brent, putting this up onto the screen, it says expected to ship September 2022 through November 2022. So I actually noticed that, honestly, just a few days ago, or a couple of days ago, actually, when I was looking at this. So very, very interesting. Has anybody else here in the chat got that notice? But yeah, check that out, Brent. It actually says September to November now.
Yep, I see that. It's right under the pre-order link. So yeah, I mean they've updated it. Maybe they didn't follow through and clearly let everybody know that has been pushed to fourth quarter of this year, when it was supposed to be a late second quarter shipping. But it's very interesting. We're still waiting to get the Dark Trooper, which there've been many unboxings, and everybody's probably seen those on that. But that was supposed to ship back in April originally too. At least that one though is physically being seen by people. It's in some collectors and some folks' hands, so that's encouraging to be able to see that. Knowing that some people are getting that figure, but it'd be nice to get that email too, to get that one coming, because I want to get that one posed next to my my Luke Skywalker with the Dark Trooper that's coming from season 2 of The Mandalorian, which I know is a very meaningful figure to you.
Oh, absolutely it is. And then going this with OG Fan, and thank you so much for that super chat, my friend, but I'm going to put in your comment over here, OG Fan. I got the official delayed email about Bo-Katan and Echo from Sideshow a few months ago. Single songwriter. I got the delayed notice. So maybe you missed it, Brent, or maybe they missed putting it out to a few, but they definitely switched that up in here. But yeah, I wasn't aware of that because, as you know, I don't pre-order my figures. I wait for them to come out and then I get them. And then, if I said anything that they didn't make that many of them, I don't usually delay. Once I see the final production photos, I go ahead and, reserve my order and wherever I'm going to get it and usually get that, which will bring us up to the next conversation here. But very interesting on this one because the Ahsoka Tano DX that comes with the Grogu from the Mandalorian series that is going to go very, very nicely with all the Mandalorian figures. That one has not been delayed. As a matter of fact, that is supposed to come out right about now, September, October of this year.
Yep, I'm seeing that too. That one's supposed to be soon, and that is going to be a highly, highly sought after figure. And I think that one is going to go waitlist real fast. Don't you agree?
No, I definitely agree, Brent. And we've already got, coming up almost to 37 in here, getting close to 40. Let's go ahead and smash that like button. Brent, it's up to you. Your audio is fantastic. Your video's lagging a little bit. I know with some people out here, sometimes they've had to restart their computer, restart their camera. You're more than welcome to go ahead and try that and see if that works, and I can put you on if you want to try it. I know backstage we were good, but I know I'm getting a couple of messages, but I hear you very clearly. Hopefully everyone out there hears you. You're just a little bit delayed in there. Sometimes it's just a reboot.
You want me to go ahead and try that once? I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and let's see if that's good, and we'll continue this going in here. I do appreciate it. Everybody, we do got the Star Wars Newsman in here, Brent, and he's going to go ahead and try and fix that. Already 40 in here, but as he was saying, very, very interesting here with this particular figure. And let's see if did that
Is that
help
better?
you there, I think that
Is
might
that better?
be, my friend. It could be a little bit better. It might be. You may have to restart your computer, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Although I love the way your camera's positioned, because it's way above the chat, so it's not like Single Songwriter's head is not covering you in there for sure. Let's see what people are saying about this particular figure in here. Valiant Archer says, look, even with this big chat, it's not exactly covering you, Brent. So that's good, because I do prefer the screen. I unfortunately did get a delayed notice for both. I'm left to assume the figures getting delayed had higher volume of pre-orders than the ones coming out on time. That's a very, very interesting a question and comment there, Brent. We could go ahead and talk on that a little bit, because we were talking backstage about it. I think that there's a myriad of factors. Certainly the one Valiant Archer brings up could be one as to why some of these figures are delayed or when they get delayed. It could be this. What is your thoughts on this? And I know that there's probably 6 other reasons that we can bring up. We'll try to address them all. But what's your thought on this one? Because this could be one reason, not the only one, but maybe one of the reasons.
Well, I think this is definitely a reason why. I think Bo-Katan certainly has received a lot of pre-orders, probably a flood of pre-orders. And that's probably one of the reasons why this figure might be delayed. They're trying to get their numbers together on this figure. And, they want to make sure that they get as many as they need to meet all of the pre-orders. And obviously to have some left over in stock if that's possible as well, like they always try to do. But I think this is absolutely a very good reason. For sure with that head sculpt. I mean, that's such an unbelievable head sculpt. It looks amazing, and I hope the final production pictures look exactly like this, if not a little bit better.
Yeah, and I'm going to play devil's advocate to some other ones in here. We got 41 in here. Please go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you very much, Valiant Archer. I think perhaps another reason on why it could be delayed is simply because of some logistic issues with some of the supply they're dealing with. And we don't talk about it a whole lot. But I know with a lot of companies that I work with, it's not because more pre-orders are coming in or because sales has, changed their forecast saying, wow, we need a little bit more. That happens sometimes. But I'm seeing a lot more times lately that it's really because, we're not able to get this certain material that we really need in order to be able to complete production. And we certainly don't want to clog up the production lines if we're not able to have them be able to put it into the box afterwards. I kind of lean more towards that's the reason. There's so many delays with resins and plastics, packaging material. My goodness gracious, trying to get corrugate on time, trying to get high abuse resins and plastics, the stuff used for clamshells on time. Forget about the materials you need for certain figures. And I think that in these volatile times of logistics in supply chain, we have to recognize that that could be an issue, especially when you're trying to book and schedule production time. You may get a material in, Brent, for instance. It may be easier to be like, hey, we can make the Luke right now. We got everything for the Mando Luke. Fortunately, don't have everything for the Bo-Katan. That one gets pushed out. It has zero to do with the head sculpt could possibly be.
No, that's a very good point too. I've heard some people say, well, there may be the reason why the Bo-Katan isn't shipping right now is because they're waiting to ship it closer to the launch of Mandalorian season 3. I don't think that's the reasoning behind it at all. This figure could ship right now. I mean, she was in the past, in season 2. People know her. People have been looking forward to this figure. But you're right. I think that there could be certain materials that they're waiting on to get. And, and we may be getting some of the other figures that went up for pre-order after her, before her. So we have to be prepared for that. And there could be a log jam of pre-orders again. I mean, I think that happens a lot, a couple of times a year where everything's, there's not a whole lot coming through. And then suddenly, bang, May rolls around and you got 6 figures that are coming through. Every other day you seem to be getting an email from Sideshow saying, all right, this particular figure is ready to ready to ship. Make sure your credit card is lined up and ready to go. It's going to charge in 3 days. And you're like, oh my gosh, where am I going to come up with all this money? Right. And it's happened a lot.
Well, no, and I totally agree with that. And I understand the line of thinking because it's conventional wisdom where it's like, hey, there's only so many figures you could put out. They have to concentrate on these other characters, blah, blah, blah. I don't fall under that line of thinking when it comes to Star Wars and Hot Toys anymore. They don't have to wait for anything. I was kind of pointing that out last year where, I got a lot of mail. They're never going to come out with that Ahsoka until the Ahsoka series airs. It ain't going to happen especially because they got the Clone Wars Ahsoka out there. And I said, you know what? I may be, you may be wrong for all I know, like Billy Joel said, but you may be right. It turned out that I was right. They put that sucker out really quick. They don't have to wait anything on Bo-Katan. It's Bo-Katan. They can put out Darth Revan now. I get messages all the time. Aries, they're not going to put out Darth Revan until we get that battle, that new, Knights of the Old Republic game. Phooey. They don't have to wait for it. They're going to have to wait for it. Even if you think you won't buy it, I sure as hell am going to buy that figure in a heartbeat, and I'll buy a new one with the new game. Matter of fact, they could put out 4 Revans. I'll probably get 1, 2, 3, add 4 of them because I love characters like that. I'll take every variation of those type of things. So no, they're not waiting for that. Went through the same thing about Boba Fett. Like, oh, no, they're not going to come out with a 6-scale Boba Fett for the book of Boba Fett because the one with the throw looks... I'm not even sure they won't come out with another Boba Fett from the book of Boba Fett, to be completely honest with you, because it's Boba Fett. And until people stop buying them, Brent, obviously, I think people bought the arena suit Boba Fett. They're just going to keep buying these. So, you don't have to wait on Bo-Katan. That's the same thing with Grief Karga. You don't have to wait for Carl Weathers to be relevant. I think he's pretty relevant now. You could put him out now. If he has something in season 3 or in season 4, you could put him out again. Why not?
Well, he's coming back in season 3, and you're right. I mean, that's a figure that I think is an absolute must. I mean, he's played a critical role in that series through 2 seasons, and I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if his screen time amps up here in season 3. He's got some meat on the bone, that guy. And it's Apollo Creed, man. Who doesn't want a 6-scale figure of Apollo Creed? Let's just say that.
Absolutely. And Ruben G, another Cantina insider, says, good point, Aries. We have no clue what Hot Toys is dealing with as China locks down and banks are having issues. That's a good point. Charlie the Unicorn says Shanghai being shut down for COVID multiple times, effed shipping up, fracked shipping up. No, it absolutely does. I don't think enough is spoken about the impact COVID has. And look, I'm not gonna. I'll bring this up again. You know, a lot of people knows I lost a family member. That I actually, was buried yesterday. It all started with COVID here just a few weeks ago. COVID is impacting everything. I know we like to get on Hot Toys and a lot of other companies, and they have their problems, but some of this stuff, Brent, is really out of our control. I wish it would get more in control, but it just is. I can't imagine Hot Toys is not being impacted still by it.
Well, they're being impacted, and at the end of the day, COVID and everything connected with it, especially over in that part of the world right now, may be the ground zero as to why all of this is happening and unfolding the way that it is. It would not surprise me at all, even though the Ahsoka Tano and Grogu figure that we've all been waiting for, it wouldn't surprise me if, early September, an email gets pushed out to all of us saying that one's going to be delayed. You just never know. I mean, right now, I think we just need to be grateful for what comes through, what becomes available. Get it if you like it. Don't get it if you don't like it. And, happy collecting to everybody. I mean, that's kind of how you need to look at it,
Yeah, and Single Songwriter says very low supply of the actual containers, which are made in China. So there are delays because of shortages. Only so many containers to go around globally. So what Single Songwriter is talking about there for all you in the chat is the containers that go on the different shipping boats that come to the various ports here within the United States or wherever that they are docking in. And that's something we were talking about backstage as well, Brent. There is that could be another issue. I said that there would be a myriad. So, we talked about the head sculpt. That could be it, like Valiant Archer said. It could be because of supplies getting to them over there. That could be it. It could also be with just shipping the damn things out and delays in shipping. I mean, some people are waiting to get containers here from the ports of Germany, from the different ports coming from China and Asia. 16 to 20 weeks. Dude, that's almost a half a freaking year.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
And we don't know what staffing constraints they might have over there too. I mean, who knows how many budget cuts they've had to make and maybe let people go. And maybe they don't have the beefy staff numbers that they once had. And when you don't have enough bodies to get things done, it takes longer to get the product moved along, right? I mean, we're dealing with staffing issues here in the United States in just about every facet, every industry. There's gas stations closing in my hometown here because there's nobody able to work at them. They can't hire anybody or nobody wants to work. So you never know. You're not going to know that. The internal comms people at Hot Toys are certainly not going to put out a news release letting you know that that's the reason why the figures are not getting into your home. But, like you said, Aries, I mean, there's a multitude of reasons that we could theorize here as to why this is happening. Maybe they're all right. Maybe none of them are right.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good points and good points, Single Songwriter. And also Charlie the Unicorn says around 65 to 70% of all, I'll give you the all there, cargo moves through Shanghai. It is nuts how important that single part is to the world economy. No, that is true as well. Thank you so much for that, Charlie the Unicorn. And Single Songwriter also says, don't forget the union of the ports in California. Well, that's another situation, Brent, is that whole thing going on there in California with the truck drivers, the unions there, the state regulations that are required to be able to ship these from the boats into the various warehouses and distribution centers throughout. There's so much, I think, that is going on with that. So that's another thing as well. God, I think we just made 5 different points as to what it could be. I can't put a figure on which one it is.
I ordered Bo-Katan on March 5th, 2021. So add the months up. I don't know if, maybe some people haven't ordered that figure yet. Maybe they ordered, but that was the day that basically that's the day that figure went up for pre-order, because I remember getting her that day. So that is the day that figure went up for pre-order. And the Dark Trooper went up January 20th of 2021. So you're looking at well over a year and a half since that one went up for pre-order. And Ahsoka Tano and Grogu went up April 16th, 2021. So we're well past a year on those 3 figures. Obviously, like I said, the Dark Trooper, we're starting to see physical examples of that figure now in the wild. So you have to believe that at some point that one's going to start shipping. But the other ones, it's your guess is as good as mine.
You know what's interesting, and EDU is in here, and thank you so much, EDU. Maybe Hot Toys should make limited runs to improve their delivery times. Interesting point and good point. One thing I'm gonna say to this is, in a way, it's very similar to the way it was prior to COVID, because we would wait a couple of years. You would know Hot Toys would announce a figure, and you sometimes have to wait a couple of years to get it, and this is prior to COVID. Now we know that they've been speeding things up a little bit, got a little bit spoiled in here, but shipping delays kind of brings it back to where it was. I'll be honest with you, Brent. I'm just going to kind of play devil's advocate to all of this here. I don't ever remember a time where we got our Hot Toy figures in a year, unless it was a straight reissue in the past. It was always a long, painful journey, unless you wanted to cut that down like 4 to 7 months by actually getting it from one of these places like Toys Wonderland or Tim Cent, or one of these sellers down over there day one, where you usually have to pay a lot more than what you. I mean, it would be great if you're able to get it at hog prices, but unless you were a Buku channel creator, that really wasn't going to happen unless you had some kind of deal or connection there. So you usually had to wait. I know I had to wait a long time to get the figures. So for me, it's not really much different, especially because I'm not putting the money down and having it held up.
No, you're right. It's not much different for you. I think it's interesting too. How does Hot Toys prioritize when these figures get made and get ready to ship? I mean, obviously, the folks a few weeks ago, whenever it was, when the Arena Fett went up, you pre-order that thing shipped right away. I mean, people are getting that figure. So that one was a rush, get it out. Maybe it's because of the conjunction and connection to New York, the New York Toy Fair. But do people want the Ahsoka Tano Grogu figure more than the Arena Fett? I mean, or the Bo-Katan? I would prefer to have the Bo-Katan over the Arena Fett, just because I have more of a connection to those particular characters, as opposed to a comic book character. I love Boba Fett, don't get me wrong, but that's a pretty unique figure that it popped up for pre-order, and then suddenly everybody had it who ordered it has been getting it in hand over the course of the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, real interesting indeed. Welcome everybody. You are watching the Market Show live here on a Wednesday. Thank you to those of you who are in here watching live. Do appreciate your support for sure. Talking about shipping and delays and some other things that are going on with Hot Toys. Yeah, but I think it's a whole kip and caboodle when it comes to try to get these on time. I think it's possible, as the year goes on into next year, that we'll see some analysts believe anyway that perhaps the shipping situation and the logistics situation could lighten up a little bit, and we could see a little bit more of a free flowing with that. I certainly do hope so. So we can get things more quickly, more expediently. That would be great, but it's volatile right now. With everything when it comes to shipping, customs, materials, production. I really do venture, but my opinion is I think one figure or another over another has more to do with not having everything that they need at a moment than needing to correct something. Gosh, they've had months and months and months to work on Bo-Katan. And I'll be quite frank with you, I didn't have a problem at all with the Katie Sackhoff head sculpt for Bo-Katan. I really didn't. I think she looks great. I know some people were talking about the jawline. She looks like John Cena, which I get the joke. But you know, to me, it looks like Katie Sackhoff. Peacemaker looks like John Cena. Bo-Katan does not look like Peacemaker. Bo-Katan looks like Bo-Katan or Starbuck, any way you want to put it. And I think Hot Toys feels that way too. They didn't even address, Brent, that they're going to fix it. They didn't fix it like they did Peacemaker. They didn't fix it like the Tony Stark figure that everyone calls Tony Stank. I think it's a bunch of nonsense with that. Can it be improved? Once you get it in hand, it's kind of like the Moff Gideon figure, the Lando Calrissian figure, the Rey figure from the Rise of Skywalker, the Kylo Ren, the Adam Driver figure from the Rise of Skywalker. They all look better when you got it. And I think the same thing with Bo-Katan, but I don't think it's a huge delay with her. I think she looked pretty good as she was.
No, I agree with you. I don't think this is an issue over likeness. I mean, if there's going to be any tweaks to that head sculpt at all, they're going to be minor. Maybe they do work on that jawline a little bit. But I don't think the final production photos of that portrait of Katie Sackhoff are going to be far off from the original photos that we saw come out when that figure was put up for pre-order first in March of 2021.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a good point the single songwriter brings up here, and I want to kind of expand on this and go into more with this. So Hot Toys is in the toy making business. If they make limited productions, they go out of business like other toys companies tried. So I think what they're going to do now, it's a good point there, songwriter, is they use these same molds so that they're able to have the lower production, which is what they need because Sideshow's never going to order the same amount that they did last year. So I think that's the reason why you saw the Arena Suit Boba Fett exit so quickly. Let's just be frank. The vintage color Boba Fett, which came in way better packaging than the Arena Suit Boba Fett, didn't take that long took much longer to sell out. Why? Because they made more. The armor, although when everyone knows I don't like the Phillips head screws that are very visible at the bottom of the feet of the armor, it's really not the reason it didn't sell too much. It had some impact to it, but I really feel that the reason is because it's lower production. However, they're using something that they already have the R&D investment in with that Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. Same thing with a lot of these head sculpts and stuff like that. So they can't continue to just put out exclusives. They need to be able to have these runs, but I think they're never going to tell you how much they produce on some of these figures. I think it's going to be less and less because there's only so much that Sideshow can be able to keep in their warehouses. So, for instance, let's go with case in point here. Let's just take generic figures. You buy a Tusken Raider, and let's just throw out a number. You buy 10,000 of them, and you buy 10,000 of the Jawa. Let's just throw Jawa and Gong Troy, and it's sitting in there for a year and a half. With that next Tusken Raider and Jawa, Brent, you're going to order the same amount so you could fill that in there, or are you going to make an adjustment like every other company does?
Yeah,
that buys, saying, listen, they talk to the salespeople. People forget that there's salespeople in here, that there's intermediaries that talk in between. It's not that the owner of Sideshow is calling Howard Chan every day saying, "Hey, where's my stuff?" They don't talk like that. When they talk, it's like, "Hey, bud, what's going on?" Blah 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 blah. They don't talk about any of that. There are salespeople involved in this, and I feel like it's not talked about enough. If you're not selling that many, you are going to reduce how much you're going to order. And so, what does the other company do? They're like, okay, if you're not going to buy 10,000 of this, would you buy 5,000 of one variation and then be willing to buy 5,000 of a chrome plated variation? And then the sales guy would say, let me get back to you. And then comes back and says, we say yes, because we think we could sell 5,000 of the chrome one, but not 10,000 of it. But we think we could sell 5,000 of a porcelain one. So that's 10,000 right there, but they both look different. Brent, this is business 101. I think that this is what is going to go on. I've been talking about it all year last year. So your thoughts on that from there?
Well, so then you think that a lot of figures are going to go to waitlist a lot quicker going into the future than they have been?
Not necessarily. Right? Not necessarily. Okay. I think it will balance out and be like it was perhaps before COVID, where you do have your one a year or a couple a year, but the waitlist thing might happen, especially with exclusives, more often than not. You already had 2 this year. And I mentioned last year and early this year, I said, guys, you're going to at least get a couple this year because they have to really swing the other pendulum to order less. That's number one. What happens when you order less? You make less money. Hot Toys is making less money. They're getting less orders from Sideshow volume-wise. So, for instance, I could tell you right now that chrome-plated Mando did not get nearly as much orders as the best car Mando did. And it has nothing to do necessarily with the pre-orders, because I think the pre-orders are just as fine. It has to do with the safety stock that Sideshow was ordering on top of that, saying, we got to fulfill all these pre-orders. We also have to get safety stock for people, got to figure out who's going to cancel pre-orders. This is usually how many we sell afterwards. That's the difference here. What is going on? So if I am Hot Toys and you're Sideshow, and this fiscal year and that fiscal year and the year before that, I was counting on that much more money. And then you come to me this year saying, sure, I'm going to buy the same amount, but I instead of 20,000, I want 10,000. And instead of 7,500 of that, I'm only going to get 5,000. And instead of 15,000, I'm only going to get 7,000. You're making less on your bottom line. What are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, I'm going to take that mold and I'm going to create something else. Would you buy that? Well, sure, I'll buy that, because different people will buy that. So my point is not everybody's going to buy the best car Mandalorian, which obviously they haven't all yet. But when you put in 3 figures, you may buy the chrome a stormtrooper with the two helmets. I'm not buying it. But there's enough that are going to, like you, that are going to buy that, and then enough that figure, like, I may want the arena suit Boba Fett, and you may not want that. Now there's enough to fill both of those. But the reason why Hot Toys is coming out with so many announcements, and this is what's interesting, so I'm trying to help people understand, they have to come out with more announcements because the volume being ordered is cut in half, as you saw with the arena suit Boba Fett, as you saw with the chrome-plated Mandalorian. So they have to come out with more announcements so that they can at least make the same amount of money. Forget about trying to make more money, which I believe that they are. But this is what I see in business all the time.
No, I think that's absolutely what's happening. I mean, I'm one of the people who bought the Beskar Mandalorian. I got the original Mandalorian, which I kept. I bought the Beskar one and loved it. But then when the one came out with the head sculpt and the real chrome and all of those accessories with the backpats and the Boba Fett helmet and everything, I made a decision. I sold the Beskar one. I put it on eBay and sold that one on the secondary market because I want the one with the head sculpt, which is going to be very similar to what the Beskar one looked like. So I made that decision. I didn't want to have too many of that particular figure. So, but you're right. I mean, I think that's exactly how it's probably going. I mean, they, what is Hot Toys to do? Sideshow was buying, 20,000 of these items. Now they're only buying 10. Well, we have all these bodies. We have all these sculpts. Let's make something else, put something else on these and reship them and resell them that way. And people like you and me will buy them in a heartbeat.
And absolutely. And that's where I think that's what's happening. And they're not just putting out all these announcements, like, for instance, just because of that. And like, take Star Wars, for instance. Star Wars is very, very hot. So they're able to go ahead and put out a lot, and anything they put out with Star Wars is going to kind of move. From the Obi-Wan series, from the Book of Boba Fett series, from the Mandalorian series, depending on what character it is, so on and so forth. You could put any variation of Luke out. You could put any variation of Darth Vader out. You could put any variation of Obi-Wan Kenobi out. You could put any, variation of Boba Fett out, obviously. Or the Mandalorian, it's going to sell. Kind of like you could put any variation, Brent, of Spider-Man out. Or Loki out. Or Iron Man out. And people are going to buy Spider-Man. They're going to buy Iron Man. They're going to buy Loki because it's a very popular character. And what you can do is you put out these different variations and you'll be able to sell them. Like, look at this Bo-Katan here. And I could tell you right now that this is only one, and I believe a slew of Katie Sackhoff figures that are going to wind up coming from this. You're going to get this. This is the Katie Sackhoff, the Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian Season 2. But you have to wonder, Brent, is it possible that we get a Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian Season 3? Who knows what her outfit will look like by the end of that series? I'm sure she'll be in a battle or two. And who knows what she's going to look like in The Mandalorian Season 4. And I think we all know, because it's Bo-Katan, that she'll probably show up with Ahsoka and Ezra in the Ahsoka series next year. Yep. So they're going to use this head sculpt. So even if Hot Toys says, you know what, pre-orders are down, we're going to wait for this. I understand that logic, and it could be it, but really they don't have to. They're like, yeah, we're only going ahead and putting out 10,000 of these. That's okay, because we're going to reuse this mold anyway, and we're going to give you a different Bo-Katan on 10,000. And actually, we'll make more from it, because we were hoping you were going to buy 15,000 Bo-Katans. Now you're only buying 10,000. I'm just throwing out numbers here, just for a play. But that's okay, because now I'm going to give you a different version of her, which is going to equal 20,000. We make more anyway, because eventually you're going to buy 20,000 of them. We just have to wait because we're piecing this out.
And you could say the same thing for the Rosario Dawson likeness of Ahsoka Tano. I mean, we're getting that figure with Grogu, which is straight out of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. But what is going to happen to Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series? We're going to get one or two versions of her from that series a year from now. They're going to go up. And what will those be? Will she be battle damaged? Will she have a different look of some sort? Will she come with accessories that we don't know anything about yet? So you got to believe that.
Yeah, and honestly, and I'm not surprised. About this date. Gosh, this coming out here, August 2022, which is actually this month. Quite frankly, is it possible that with this August 2022, last time I looked, it's August 17th, this could literally be an official release tomorrow, because it's already expected to ship this month, and we are already 17 days into this month for sure. So I think you bring up a great point. I think that they are going to utilize this head sculpt, and this looks absolutely unbelievable how she looks. Like, wow. I cannot wait to get this, and I would absolutely spill my coffee, and I don't think I've played it enough so far. Do this tonight. Do this tomorrow night. But I get a feeling that this one's coming very, 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 very quickly. But Brent, like you're saying, God, how many Ahsokas you think will wind up? I think we'll get a quarter scale Ahsoka from the Ahsoka series. I'd love that.
Oh, I think we're going to get more. I mean, we're for sure going to get another version of her to go up for pre-order, next May or June when the show goes up. There's no question about that. And I'm eagerly anticipating what that figure will look like. You just never know. And I think at the end of the day, Aries, I think Ahsoka Tano is going to play a critical role in the Star Wars story. We haven't, we've seen what she did in Rebels. I mean, I think she's going to play a pivotal role in the overall story of Star Wars. And I think, the writers and everybody are really taking the care to make sure that they tell that story properly and do it right, because she's an incredibly popular character and very important to the overall.
No, and I think that you're 100% right. I think that Disney is 1,000% invested in Rosario Dawson taking on this role as Ahsoka Tano. I mean, the casting by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau in bringing her into the fray with this. I literally spilled my damn coffee when she showed up in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 5. And man, you talk about Hot Toys capturing moments. I absolutely cannot wait for this deluxe set. And I'm so glad, at least at this moment, it seems like it's supposed to still come out this month and next month. But wow, what a bombshell this would be if something like this were to drop over the next week or even tonight. You have to wonder. And I personally think that this may be one of the best head sculpts they've ever done for any of the brands that they make for. I think that this is going to be hotcakes, baby.
Yeah, this figure is everything. It really is. And I was like you. I was shocked when this came up for pre-order as quickly as it did. A little over a year ago. But look at that likeness. Look
Yeah.
at that likeness. It's just absolutely perfect. And again, maybe when the final production photos pop up, it'll look. There might be a tweak or two. I don't think we're going to see anything off what you see right there. I think that is. I haven't heard too many people say that is not what they want to put on their shelves. That looks like an incredible addition to anybody's 6 scale collection.
No, and this is really just the prototype photos. And when you actually look at some of the raw photos, from Secret Base and some of the pictures that were put up over here, it looks absolutely unbelievable, Brent. And this is a DX as well. It's a Ahsoka Tano. We're getting an Ahsoka Tano DX, and you saw the way that they brought her in to the whole Mandoverse here on Disney Plus. And you know that Disney is going to. I mean, come on, Brent. They have already a show named after her, the Ahsoka series.
They already put her in a scene with Luke Skywalker. Talk
kind
about
of advising
Star Wars royalty. I mean, she's already been in a canon scene with Luke Skywalker, and I bet you'll see the two of them continue to connect as we continue on with this journey on Disney Plus and watching all this amazing Star Wars content. What's to say that they didn't collaborate during this particular part of the timeline? I bet you we see them again. If you remember from the Book of Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker looked at her and said, "Will I ever see you again?" Don't tell me that that's not foreshadowing. That's storytelling 101. Of course they're going to see each other again. And I bet you they have a really cool adventure. He may pop up in Ahsoka. It would be amazing.
No, and there's some strong rumors out there, and a lot of the rumors that I listened to on some of the sources, they've been very, very right on predicting what was going to happen in the Book of Boba Fett they've been fairly accurate in what was going to happen in the Obi-Wan series. We'll have to see how accurate they're going to be about Andor, but certainly with the Mandalorian season 3 and the upcoming forthcoming Ahsoka series, Luke Skywalker, the deep fake Luke, which looked amazing in
Yes, he
the
did.
book of Boba Fett. Gosh,
Yep.
supposed to have a major role in the Mandalorian season 3. She's supposed to, one of the rumors is she's babysitting Grogu on one of the on one of the exploits that Luke and Din Djarin go off with after he teaches Din Djarin more proficiency on how to wield that dark saber. So you know what
Wow.
else? You know what else I think too is we're looking through. Gosh, this head sculpt is God, it's going to be like that. That's an amazing figure. I'm trying to get to Grogu in here to kind of bring him up as we. All right, there's Grogu. Let's blow this up. You know that ending scene, in chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, where it seemed like everyone's like, oh, he shows up now in chapter 7. He's in Luke's X-wing. R2D2 dropped off Grogu. There's your answer. He chose the Mithril for your Lord of the Rings fans. He chose Mithril. There's a reason they didn't show exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying, Brent? I think anyway.
Right. No, I think you're right. And we're going to see a lot more of Luke Skywalker as we go along here. And the rumor that you bring up about Mandalorian season 3, I had not seen that yet. But as you were telling that story, I'm just getting goosebumps because, I think it's important that we see a lot more of him. And, and I think he's for sure going to be involved perhaps in the Ahsoka show as well. I mean, that is the son of Anakin Skywalker, who was the master to Ahsoka during the Clone Wars episodes and through the Rebels. So, I mean, it's just it's all kind of incestuous, if I'm allowed to use that word, but at the same time, it's all meaningful. And we're going to see Grand Admiral Thrawn too. I mean, is Luke going to be brought in to help do something with him? I mean, Rosario Dawson went on the record at C2E2 in Chicago, the convention that happened there a couple of weeks ago, and said in front of a panel that Grand Admiral Thrawn will for sure be in the Ahsoka series.
Oh, he's going to be the main protagonist. He's going to be the main. He's going to be the main villain is what I should say.
And that's going to be a figure we're all going to want, and I'll be curious to see who plays him because I want that figure.
Well. And here's the other thing, and here's another reason why I don't think we know exactly what happened with Grogu in that scene with Luke Skywalker, because Luke was very dogmatic, saying it's either my way or the highway. And the armor was also very vociferous in saying it's either her way or the highway. To quote the armor, it is, this is the way. To quote Luke Skywalker, you're either a Jedi and you can't be anything else. However, I'm pretty sure Grogu, who was told don't keep eating the eggs and is going to just want what he wants, I could have actually seen him extending his hands or maybe even using the Force and just taking both of them, taking the lightsaber and the Mithril, and Luke going, you can't do that. I mean, much like, and if I can find this clip over here, much like Newt Gunray telling Count Dooku she can't do that. I can see Luke saying, Grogu, you can't do that.
She can't do that. Shoot her or something.
And Grogu's like, don't tell me, baby. I'm going to go ahead and get this. And plus, the other thing is, the story between Grogu and Luke cannot be over. Because Din Djarin is not going to be able to help with what I'm going to show you here, which this scene they purposely teased. There is so much Jedi lore involved in that clip and what's going to be going on with Anakin Skywalker, with Mace Windu, with some of the Jedi that are out on the run from there. they didn't just throw this in because Dave Filoni is careless. They didn't just throw that clip in because Jon Favreau is careless. Like you said, Brent, they're very, very particular and very, very they know exactly what they're doing and why they're putting it in.
No, exactly. I mean, what that show when I saw that scene, okay, I loved it. Now you know a little bit more about Grogu and the backstory. He survived Order 66, but now it begs the question, among many other questions, is like, how did he get out of there? Who scooped him up? Who got him out of there? Who saved him? You know, that needs to be told now. And I think just seeing that scene means it's the responsibility of Favreau and Filoni to, at some point, share with us how he got out. And we need to get that backstory at some point. I don't know if that's going to happen during Mandalorian Season 3. I don't know where that falls. But at some point, I'd like to see that, not read it in a comic. I'd like to see it unfold in real-time Star Wars. And I'm hoping that happens.
But I'll take more comic figures. They could go ahead and give me Darth Talon. They could go ahead and give me all these comic figures like the arena suit Boba Fett. Come on. And the insane one goes, this is the way to 100 likes. Like and subscribe to 6 Scale Cantina and the Dark Jedi by Tapeworm. Thanks you. Well, thank you so much there, my friend. I do appreciate all that support for sure. Let me go ahead and fill you up at this is very delicious talk. Let me fill you up at Table Oblivion.
You're delicious.
Ciao, boys.
Pizza the Hut. I could watch that show over and over and over again. Very, very exciting stuff here with this particular figure here. I honestly, bro, and I actually think that this Ahsoka, there's Grogu. There's a little Grogu we're talking about. So much circled around him. Charlie the Unicorn says in one of the chats, Grogu is he also put Ahsoka the where is this in here? Is it Ahsoka the White, like Gandalf the White, like she yes, she kind of really advised Luke. She kind of had that whole mentor aspect, which was so freaking cool to see. And I'm trying to get to this other comment, but I lost it. But I think that Charlie the Unicorn said, as some others in here, that Grogu is the Mandalorian. And it's kind of fun to talk about that. I don't know. P-Rock's in the house. What is going on, P-Rock? Good to have you in here, my man. So many in here. Come on. Can't wait to have P-Rock back on the show. Doc Smizzle, the same damn thing. Doc is in here as well. What's going on, Doc? Good to have you in here. Come on. We'll have Doc back on here soon, too. Looking forward to that. Paul Morales is in here. What's going on? Gosh, so many in here. It's an interesting thought, but, it would be an interesting play, writing-wise, if we all think the Mandalorian is Din Djarin. He's the Mandalorian. But it'd be interesting if the whole show was about the Mandalorian is actually Grogu. And he's actually the one that's going to sit on the throne and rule Mandalore. And actually would be like full circle coming around, because not only would he rule Mandalore, but he could also be a Jedi. Talk about coming full circle around. I actually don't see Din Djarin wanting to be sitting on a throne being some type of king. Kind of like Boba Fett at the end of Book of Boba Fett, Brent, where he's like, I don't know if I want to sit here like Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. I think it's it's a possibility. Grogu could be the Mandalorian.
Well, it could be one of those bait and switches. I mean, the Mandalorian, obviously so far they've been, it's been Din Djarin, and we're just assuming that's what it is. But you're right. I mean, who is Grogu? Who is this character? This character never existed in any Star Wars lore prior to that show. It was such a jaw-dropping, coffee-spilling moment when we saw this little tiny Yoda character in Mandalorian season 1. It's like, what is happening here right now? You know, for those of us who grew up and went to Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and you know, that was Yoda. I mean, that was it. We thought that was the beginning and the end of that species, and now here we are. You know, this far along in the timeline, and we're you know, we have this young little character now that has so much story to tell, and it's going to be amazing to see it unfold. And I just hope they tell it right. I hope they tell it right.
Oh, and I hope that I'm sure that they hope that they that they tell it right for sure. And she looks amazing. I cannot wait. Are you getting the deluxe set or are you getting the regular, Brent?
I'm getting the deluxe. I didn't want to have a single accessory not in my collection for this figure. I don't know how I'm going to pose it yet or how it's all going to go. And I have to decide too whether I want, you know, I'm probably going to put her with my Mandalorian figures, but I have another shelf for like the Ahsoka stuff too. But you know, it's just going to be amazing. So many great accessories with that figure, and it's going to be a grail, right? I mean, how can you not say that it's not? It just
let me
is.
ask you. Yeah, let me ask you a question here, Brent. Okay, so they didn't. So if you're a Sideshow and you're already making adjustments on a character like Boba Fett, especially the arena suit Boba Fett, and you're making an adjustment on a chrome-plated clone trooper with 2 helmets because it's sold out. Okay, and you know, they work with Sideshow. Okay, these are going to be exclusives. How many do you want? It doesn't have to be 1,500. It could be 10,000. It doesn't, even though it's an exclusive, they could say, this is what we want. This is what we think we could sell. They had the armor last year, and they're like, we still have it. We're not going to get caught with our pants down again, which is why we made these adjustments. And if there's going to be more Rosario Dawson figures, which I think you and I think that there's going to be, obviously, way more than just 1 or 2. Is it possible that they don't have to produce 20,000 of these to make their investment? They could just put out, you know what, this is what we're going to put out with this. It's a DX. It's great. We're going to use it again. Don't you worry.
No, I think absolutely. I think the body sculpt and the portrait here is exactly what we're going to see again when the Ahsoka figure from the Ahsoka show goes up for pre-order. There might be a couple of head sculpts. We don't know. You know, is she going to, you know, suffer some battle damage and you get a head sculpt with that? Is she going to have an angry face and you get that one added to it as well? We just don't know. But I think you nailed it, Aries. I mean, there's no point in you know, redoing another body for this figure if she's going to be very similar to this one in the show. There might be more accessories. There might be some different clothing apparel, maybe a different version of Grogu if he's in it. But you know, it's certainly it's definitely food for thought. But you're right. I think they're just holding on to this body sculpt, and they're just going to reuse that again in a year.
Yeah, I really, really do. And I think, you know, the notion that, oh, forever, we're going to be able to kind of wait for stuff to have a coupon or be able to have some type of deal because it's not selling. If you own Sideshow, Brent, how often would you continue if you're finishing in the red, continue to operate the same way until you made an adjustment and say, hey, wait a minute, we're going to order less? How long would you wait?
Well, you can't wait very long at all. I mean, you've got to, you know, you've got to get into the black. You've got to be making money. And so I think maybe they're already starting to think that way.
So what do you do as a
ahead.
collector then? If you're thinking that they're going to plan that and they're not going to continue to shoot themselves in the foot, how do you navigate on when to order? And for me, it's like, hey, I don't think you have to rush and order anything. I think with exclusives now, if you want a particular exclusive, they've already shown this year that they're not making very many of them. As a matter of fact, with Iron Man, who's very popular down in there, they even said, hey, we're only making 1,000 here. We're only doing 500 here. We're only doing 300 here. So I think with any of those, exclusives, COD exclusives, you got to know, hey, maybe budget for that accordingly. Every year when you budget, if it turns out where, hey, well, I really wasn't into that figure and I budgeted for it, great. Save that money and buy something else or save it for the next year. You got no problem budgeting it for it. But I think you have to prepare for it, because saying, oh, yeah, it's an exclusive, but I'm going to wait till it goes on sale in 6 months or 9 months, like which with the armor, which there was some of that conversation going around. I'm not worried about exclusives this year because the Ahsoka is still on there. Well, you know what? Now, how many people got burned? Because where is the arena suit Boba Fett? Where is the chrome plated, clone trooper? And I think where it is Sideshow isn't going to continue to stick their thumb in their eye and continue to make bad decisions for them, like you said, to finish in the red. They want to finish in the black.
Right. And the chrome plated clone trooper, probably, if I'm Sideshow, that was risky. You don't know how popular that's going to be. And obviously it ended up being very popular. People have been begging and wanting and needing clones from Hot Toys for years, and finally this year they got a lot. I mean, there was a big reveals back on May 4th, and then obviously the chrome plated one here over the summer, late spring, early summer. But you're right. I mean, they weren't going to buy 10,000 pieces of that unit at all. Who knows how many they bought, but it sold out quick. And now there you go. You're putting the armor up. That is a prime example of probably what led to this year for that chrome plated clone trooper selling out as quickly as it did. Sideshow just did not buy as many of those as they did this particular piece.
It has 10% off. Oh, Sideshow can't wait to put these offers on because they can't sell it. So the point is why would you keep doing the same thing? I don't care if it's Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Iron Man, whatever character you think is the greatest character in the world that everybody's just going to buy. They're just not going to continue to do this. So right now it's like, oh, I'm going to wait for this coupon. Okay, well then wait for the coupon. But if you're waiting for a coupon, and I'm going to put this up on the screen, for the arena suit Boba Fett, well, you just lost out. And the reason you lost out, because they're not going to continue to make the same damn mistakes over and over again. So the conversation needs to steer towards, what do we do as collectors the remainder of the year and next year and the year after? Because obviously there are adjustments that are being made. So where's the coupon on this, Brent?
Never was going to be one. I don't think. I think we're never going to know the production run number on this particular figure, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's somewhere in the 3,000 to 5,000 range because of how quickly this sold out. This was gone within 48 hours. This was waitlisted less than 2 days after it was put out on pre-order at the first time. And
I don't think it was just because this is, it's arena suit Boba Fett, and people were just spasming out, this is like the most amazing thing ever, and they fainted and fell over. It's Boba Fett. It'd be the same reaction if it was a white prototype Boba Fett, or a complete black chromed out Boba Fett, or a porcelain Boba Fett, or a sunflower seed with daisies put on it Boba Fett, or venomized Boba Fett, or any Boba Fett. It ran out because they didn't make anywhere near as many of these as they did the armor.
And I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's where Sideshow learned their lesson. Hot Toys, didn't make as many. Sideshow didn't purchase as many to make available for people in pre-order. They don't want to have another armorer situation happen again where they have all of these figures just sitting in stock on shelves. But to go back to one of your earlier points, Aries, about what do people do? How do you navigate this? There's a couple of checkpoints, I think, every year that we collectors have to just put on the calendar as to when we're going to potentially see exclusives or con exclusives come out. One, I think, is right around May 4th. We're going to get inundated every May 4th with announcements of figures. Okay. And then obviously New York Toy Fair. There's always going to be one in connection with that. And I think people just need to circle those dates on their future calendars and just know that you need to be budgeted to be able to get those if you want them. And
for sure.
There
For
might be
sure.
other areas. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say for sure about that. You're right on.
Yeah, I mean, usually San Diego Comic-Con, there's reveals, but there's not always a lot of figures that go up for pre-order. I mean, at least not in the last few years that I can recall. You get to see some of the figures and what they want to do, but there's really nothing it becomes available for pre-order. So that's kind of a peek behind the curtain event, so to speak. So you get to see what's coming for you. But I mean, May 4th and New York Toy Fair are your two biggies, and then beyond that, you just don't know what's going to be revealed for pre-order and when. You just have to pick and choose what you want and how you want to go about doing it. Do you pre-order it out of the gate, or do you wait?
Oh, and look, and going back, and you're exactly right, 100% right. And look, it's not that I'm not saying that there's like here's a coupon here. Here's a limited time offer. You have that with some of these on here, right? There's no denying that. The question needs to be, is it possible that this is just going to continue with the other figures that are coming out, and with the figures coming out next year, and the figures coming out the year after that? And I say you have to wonder, because fool Sideshow once, fool them twice, fool them three times, unless they continually want to just bang their head against the wall over and over and over and over again. And they're already giving you the signs that they have made the adjustments, because, as I said, there's no coupon not only on the Arena Suit Boba Fett, there's no coupon on the chrome-plated Clone Trooper as well. So, when you talk about, and I'm going to pull up the next one over here as we look into, and this will be a fabulous one to bring up if I could, as I'm scrolling over here to see it, to talk about figures that are going to be coming out. And of course he's way up here because he is Luke Skywalker. Talking about this is one that's supposed to come out October to December 2022. And all of these figures here that we're bringing up, you talk about Bo-Katan, we're talking about Ahsoka, we're talking about Luke. These are all Mandalorian Season 2 figures. And outside the Ahsoka, all of these figures, Bo-Katan, Pedro Pascal head sculpt chrome-plated Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett and the Throne, they're all Season 2 finale figures that all go in conjunction with each other. But this is another one to talk about. This particular figure here, this is not the last time that they will use this head sculpt, Brent. They're already using it with the DX25 Luke Bespin that's coming out. So it's not like they're married. Oh gosh, we use this deep fake Luke. We have to get all the money now. Let's produce 40,000 of them. I just don't see it.
No, I don't either. The Bespin Luke might have obviously will have different hair, but the head sculpt, the face will be very similar on that figure. And you're right. I mean, it's another situation where they're not going to spend more money. They do not want to go into the red on this. I have to believe Sideshow bought a lot of these to sell because I think a lot of people want this figure. I don't see this figure being canceled a whole lot. There's just it's too meaningful to too many people. I mean, I don't see how you cancel this figure. I just don't. I mean, unless you have no money at all. I mean, that would suck.
Where I see it is non-Star Wars fans or fans that really are more of a Marvel fan, or maybe DC, or maybe like something different from Hot Toys, that's not really into Star Wars, but they're in the community. They hear the hype, and they hear the hype of the show, and they ordered it and they're like, yeah, but I'm really not into Star Wars and I don't care. Like, I have some family members who are like, yeah, you love Star Wars, they're Aries, but it's not me. So I can see that, but other than that, I'm right with you.
I mean, after the portrayal of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, I mean, that was the last imagery, the last, feeling we had was, curmudgeon Luke deciding to die on a rock. And then that moment, I mean, that figure right there is everything to people who live and breathe Star Wars. And I would be, I think it's going to waitlist real soon after it starts shipping. I really, really do. I think a lot of people are picking this one up.
Well, and here's a point I want to get to with this. And so if you have a lot of coupons this year, and people are waiting for a lot of coupons this year to use to buy the figures, whether it's the sets, Biker Scout with the speeder bike, so on and so forth. And they're like, oh, we're just going to wait for that, and we're going ahead and we're going that view. Doesn't Sideshow know that? Doesn't Sideshow see that? Can't Sideshow calculate that? Doesn't Sideshow look at their bottom line and see that? And wouldn't Sideshow say, oh, Brent, let's do this in 2023. This is so much fun. We look forward to it. What do you think?
No, I think that's exactly it. I think they obviously know how many rewards points they have out there that people have been accumulating too over the course of the year. And how, that's money that people are going to use against the purchasing of figures. And they put out a mandate a little over a year ago that people needed to burn those annually now. You can't just carry them on and build on them year after year after year. So everybody's going to have to, if you have Sideshow rewards points, you're going to have to put them towards something before December 31st. And it'll be interesting to see, how this all goes. And maybe they do drop some figures down and they have coupons for a lot of these figures to move some of that inventory. So maybe they're looking ahead into their crystal ball and seeing that as a reality too, nearing the end of Q4.
You said crystal ball and you mentioned Sideshow. So you have to wonder, is this what they call Sideshow?
They call him the Wizard.
It
might very well be. There's
only so much, with a lot of conversation that goes on. I think we have to open our eyes and realize that Sideshow listens to it, and they're actually the ones with their pocketbooks and their wallets getting hurt with it. And you can bet your ass that they're certainly going to make adjustments. And if you can't see this clear signs in front of us, as we did with the Sideshow exclusives, I don't know how else the Dark Jedi can help you here. And look, with these figures, they're all going to get, in my view, with the vast majority of them, they get in stock. As far as saying, oh, I'm going to wait 2 years to get this Luke, Sideshow can only do that so long before they fold up with and go out of business. You just can't. It cannot continue under that vein. Thus, Brent, why I was saying all year last year with this storm that's coming, that there's also going to be blue beachy skies, and the way that they're going to do it is more figures, less production to navigate this issue, which I believe is what they're doing. And they're not the only company, Brent, who's doing this. Everybody needs to kind of adjust to be able to do these things. But this figure, I cannot wait. This is probably, I was talking about it on my last show, how emotional. Honestly, I was almost in tears my last show talking about this, how much this meant to me from what happened in The Last Jedi with this character. And again, The Last Jedi is a great movie. But what's horrible is what happened with Luke, in my view. This meant a lot for a lot of people. So I'm going to echo what you said. This figure is going to be very sought after, I believe.
Well, one of the things that none of us ever got a chance to see was Luke Skywalker being a seasoned Jedi Knight. and the power that he truly had and possessed. You know, at the end of Return of the Jedi, that wasn't something that was a part of that particular story. It was about the redemption of his father. And in that moment, you saw Luke Skywalker the way many people have always dreamt about and wanted to see him just come into a scene and wreck shop. And that is exactly what he did. And that is what that figure is going to represent on most everybody's shelves when they get it.
Brent, and you brought up a really, really good point on there's a reason why he wrecked shop the way he did in the finale of The Mandalorian season 2. It wasn't just, oh, let's go ahead and make him good, make him look good. There was a clear mission that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and Disney had to correct this.
Fulfill your destiny.
It was purposeful. They knew what they were doing, and the internet absolutely blew up after that finale.
Yep, you're right. And it was absolutely purposeful. It was done in such a clandestine manner. In this day and age, when social media rules and leaks and rumors and everything, it's very hard to keep secrets these days. How was that secret kept? How was it kept that Mark Hamill was visiting that set? He was there. You know, he was a part of that. You know, how was it kept that that Luke was being brought back in that finale and was going to save the day? They kept it. It was kept, and nobody saw it coming. And boy, when it came, they hit you hard between the feels, didn't they? Wow.
Well, and I really think that The Mandalorian, yes, here's my view. Grogu and The Mandalorian brought Star Wars back to life and brought a lot of fans in there. But I dare say that this scene right here saved Star Wars.
I agree. I think it did. I totally agree with you. It brought back what Star Wars meant to the majority of the people who have been a part of the fan base for over 40 years. And hopefully we get to see more of that as these on the Disney Plus platform as these Star Wars content shows continue to play out. You know, this was not a fan service moment. That was part of the story. It was written in there. It was a plot point. It was like you said, it was very purposeful. And who else was going to come and save the day other than him? It had to be him. And I mean, it was wonderful to see it.
Obviously, I have family and loved ones that rank higher, but you know, as far as my whole lifespan, you know, certainly entertainment wise, but this is one of the most fantastic moments in my life. You know, maybe put it up there in the top 40 or whatever way you want to say it. I'm not really trying to over dramatic it, but it was dramatic for my family. It was dramatic for me as a Star Wars fan. And unless you're really like you know, it's hard for me to understand other people when they talk about other IPs and how emotional they get, even if I like it, if I'm not a big diehard fan. But I get it. But those that are diehard with this, they know exactly where we're coming from. You and I with this being diehards with this. I mean, I don't even know how I slept that night after this. I mean, it was just so powerful, and I really do believe that this corrected Star Wars, and you're seeing what the investment of Disney made back in, what was it, 2011, 2012, what the worth, what the value is right here. But man, can you even imagine what this is going to do? I know Moff Gideon's out. I just got that figure. It's awesome. Can you just imagine what this is going to do to the sales of the Dark Trooper? To put one laying down. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, the Dark Trooper right now is still kind of lingering in the middle of the bestseller list. But you're right. I mean, you know, you get the one right there in that photo that comes with the Luke that's all crushed like a pop can, right? but you're going to want to have the other one too to put with him, I think. And I would, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm going to have, that's the thing. How do you pose this one? Do you have him fighting, or do you have him holding Baby Yoda or Grogu at the end, which was such an iconic moment as well? Or do you buy two of them and have both? I mean, it's very interesting on how people are going to choose to pose him, you know?
Yeah, and putting up somebody, Valiant Archer says Pendulum is eventually going to swing back to making more pre-orders. I do agree from what we're talking about, or, with this, Brent, with what Valiant Archer is saying there. I do think that that's very, very possible. I certainly think that that's what they want to do. What comes around goes around. What happens before, a lot of times will happen again. You Ronald D4 fans will know what I'm talking about. So say we all. Yes. Putting this up in here. Doricus Maximus is saying it's Luke. You always buy two. Yes. I can understand that. You always buy two, and you know what, Doricus? There's always
a bigger fish.
Whenever I get an opportunity to piggyback off of something, I really, really try to. I'm going to pose this, Brent, kind of like this, or while he's doing it, like with a force choke maybe, and then maybe have one of the other, that Dark Trooper can be split in half. And I can't wait to get that figure. Could be like, you could separate the body from the legs. Can you imagine having it laid down behind it while he's doing this to this? I see the display now. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of having the broken one in half behind it while he's crushing this one like a soda can.
I am definitely going to be putting the regular Dark Trooper with this version of Luke. And some people may pose him with Moff Gideon, which makes sense too. But this is the scene to me that just was everything. And that's where I'm going to put both of those figures. I cannot wait to get this figure. Cannot wait. Look at that. Oh.
No, it's crazy. And then let's go to another one that ties into this, which is the Pedro Pascal head sculpt that I cannot wait. To me, that is the ultimate 6-scale Mandalorian, and it's up there with Luke because people are jonesing for this, man.
Look at the accessories. Look at everything.
Yeah, let's go to the accessories since you mentioned it. See if I can get to. I mean, look at this damn figure.
Oh,
man, I cannot wait that it's the Mandalorian. This is the way.
Oh,
and I mean,
man.
this also catapults the sales. And I'm telling you right freaking now. And sure, I'm sure they made some safety stock and they're calculating, okay, well, people buy this, they're going to want a Dark Trooper when they buy this crow-plated Mandalorian. Oh, when they buy the Luke, they're going to want a Dark Trooper. Oh, when they buy Moff Gideon, they're going to want a Dark Trooper. I get it. But again, they're also cutting back. And that Dark Trooper was not very well received. But people are like, oh, crap, this is a freaking beast of an awesome droid. Right. I am absolutely getting it. That's another one that I don't think is going to be around very, very long. You could put it with this one. You could put him with Moff Gideon, as you said. You could put him with Luke. That figure is going to be gone, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be gone. There's no doubt about it. Such a great piece. When that first came out, I liked it. I thought it was amazing. Never thought that the Luke figure would come out with a crushed pop can version of him, but that eventually happened. But you're right. I mean, you can put that Dark Trooper with so many other characters. It is going to be gone. And I think people are going to buy multiples. I mean, obviously, that's exactly what people are going to do, So it'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Tulia says this scene was pure chills and insanity. I think he was talking about, the one with him like crushing like a soda can. In there is all Charlie the Unicorn. So say we all. So say we all. Absolutely. Mark Attack goes, I think I'm the only one who is not getting this Luke. No, you're not the only one. There's definitely a lot of people who won't, but and that's quite okay. Like I said, I don't get every figure. I'm not getting the chrome-plated Mark Attack Clone Trooper. I don't get everyone, but I think a lot of people though will get this, Luke. But man, this so let's talk about this, because you can go ahead and just look at data with two-dimensional thinking. And what I mean by that is the best car Mandalorian, they made so many. There's coupons on it now. Wait till you can buy it for $150 on eBay. Sideshow knows that too. So what's going to happen with this one compared to the best car Mandalorian as far as Sideshow goes, Brett? What do you think that they may do as far as ordering this? Because this is an awesome Mando.
Well, I'd be curious to wonder how many Sideshow did get of this particular figure, because again, I don't think they want to run into a similar situation that they still are currently dealing with the Beskar version, where that figure, even with the coupons, is not sold out. It's been in stock for how long? I mean,
forever.
It has been. And that was a figure where I think back when it was shipping, many people thought it was going to go on Waitlist and be gone, and it's not. So it would not surprise me at all if Sideshow got maybe half the amount of this particular figure as they did the Beskar version. And I think if people want this figure, I don't think you can sleep. I really don't think you can. I think you need to get in on this. I mean, look at that head sculpt. Anything with a head sculpt, I think you need to jump in on and get if you want it.
I'll be honest with you. We need to talk about it. And I want to talk about this head sculpt because that is scary. That is scary looking good. And we don't talk about how freaking good. I mean, this looks like I'm looking right at Pedro Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute insanity. But you do have to wonder. I dare say that you're saying, half as much. I can see them saying, look, we don't want to be in this situation ever again. I don't care who the character is. They could cut this 2/3 less just to not be in that situation, because that is very, very real to them. You brought up a great point. That is still in damn stock. And you have to wonder if they're thinking how many of these freaking things beyond what was pre-ordered is what I'm talking about. How many do we want sitting in here? Do we want this in 2023? And so, again, this goes to, well, we just made this damn Pedro Pascal head sculpt. What are you doing to us, Sideshow? But don't worry, we'll find another way to use it again. Episode 7 with Mayfield, Bill Burr, Tank Trooper. There you go. There's another 5,000 or right there, whatever the hell to sell there. There's going to be so many different reasons to put this head sculpt out again. I could see it even being less than half, Brent, of that, honestly.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, all they have to really do is meet their pre-orders, right? And once they get all the pre-orders done, then, what's left? I mean, is there going to be anything left? But you're right. I think you're right. It would not surprise me at all if it's one half of one half. I mean, for sure.
And what I'm saying is, it's not like, every figure they're only going to make 200 and it's going to go out. No. It's going to be a lot less. But I think it could go back to, once it has the in-stock symbol, to only being in stock anywhere from a month to 4 months, like it used to be, because they're making these concessions. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not going to be in there in stock for a year once it gets in stock, because they can't make money continuing to do that.
No, they can't, and people aren't buying it. And I don't. My guess is that the reveal of this particular version of Din Djarin certainly has not helped the sales of the Beskar version. You could draw a direct line to this particular figure being available and people choosing to wait to get this one, as opposed to use the coupon and want to get the Beskar version, because at the end of the day, they look very similar and you get so much more with this one.
And even a bigger point to tack onto that, those ones that are still in stock, they still sell. They're not on the bottom of the list by the blurg or by it's a little weird. So I just don't see any scenario where they overdo this, and I don't see any scenario where Hot Toys is nervous about it. It's kind of like they just came out with that Neo figure, which is a head sculpt, which they did a lot of work to make Keanu Reeves pop out. They're not making a whole lot of that freaking Matrix figure. A lot of people aren't going to buy that figure, but they're fine with that. They'll find different ways. But you know what? Neo's a popular character. You put out a different version, they sell a couple thousand here, sell another couple thousand here, a couple thousand here. Well, we're going to skip that because I already got a Neo figure. Well, there's a couple of other thousand people that will buy it. Same thing with this. Can you imagine if they came out with the Tank Trooper from that awesome episode 7 of The Mandalorian season 2 with Bill Burr? That freaking scene. I mean, I would love that figure. Kind of like, think of it like the Mud Trooper with the with Solo. That would be such a hot figure, dude.
It would be a great figure, and I could see them doing that. I mean, we don't know what costumes or anything else that he's going to do in season 3. You're going to see that head sculpt 3 more times, I bet, minimum, on other figures, other versions of Din Djarin that we have not seen yet, to be revealed in season 3 and beyond.
We have 86 in here. Did you smash the like button, baby? I haven't even said it all show, Brent. But we I think people in the chat have said it. Don't forget to hit the like button. You're watching the market show. I got my special guest Brent in here, and
another figure too, Aries, that is sitting in stock that is shocking with a coupon is the Boba Fett Deluxe 2-pack. I mean, no bad Boba Fett, and that one they must have purchased a lot of. That's a $500 figure set. How many, that one's not selling out.
Well, I think there's a couple things with that one, and that one came out more recent than a lot of the other ones that are in stock. A, B, it's very expensive. That 2-pack figure, number one, it is one of the more recent ones with that one, but you have to remember as well, the other caveat to all of this, and I think everybody knows that there has been like a war between Sideshow and some of the hog sellers out there, and not to get into all of that and say which one's right or wrong, and I never said which one's right or wrong. I just gave you the market facts. For instance, Sideshow battling with Toys Wonderland, Toys Wonderland battling with Sideshow. Here's the reason why. Everyone's stepping on each other's toes because it used to be, hey, we come out with a figure in Hong Kong, there's 4 to 7 months before Sideshow gets it here. So basically, you're able to buy it off the Hong Kong. Yeah, you get your batch 1, get it off us, or batch 2, or a batch 3. It was never going to get here by air freight or get here within the same time or within 3 or 4 weeks. It's just never how it operated. So you would usually get that, and then it would sit in. It would get here, and then it would actually they would fill the first pre-orders supposedly, in the past first, and then all of a sudden the comic shops would get their first batches in, and then after they shipped those out, then it would say in stock, and then you knew, Brent, once it got in stock, what was the normal? Anywhere from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 months, it'll stay in there, right? But that's already on top of 7 months. That's a damn year.
Yeah.
That's a year, and we don't talk about that. It'll be a year with Boba Fett at the end of December, beginning of January, so we can look at it then. I think it'll be well gone way before then, but we don't calculate that there is a little bit of a shift in the mechanism, and from being around with all the different things, that when you shift the logistics like that, everything goes all over the place. So it seems like, oh, well, why does Sideshow still have these in stock? Well, they had it in stock. It usually took how long? So there was a whole timeline to this. The figure was out for sale for a year usually.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And, we got to keep that in mind with everything. I mean, IG-11 is still available.
Yeah, well, right? That should have been gone.
I mean, how is that figure still available? That one may be the most mind-boggling of them all to me right now.
How many do you think they're going to make, though? Let's take IG-11. So if you're a Sideshow and you try to get rid of IG-11, Let's play this here. You're a
Mhm.
Sideshow, Brent. I'm Hot Toys, and I'm Hot Toys. I'm saying, hey, we're putting up on pre-order KX Enforcer Droid. What do you tell me? How many are you going to buy compared to IG-11?
Half of a half.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you tell me that as Sideshow? Why?
Because I don't want to be stuck with them. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, IG-11 was a iconic character from season 1. I have mine posed on top of the speeder bike. I mean, who doesn't want to have an IG droid? Who doesn't want one driving driving a speeder bike? I mean, that's exactly what I figured that thing would be long gone because a lot of people would be wanting to pose that figure like that. But it's still in stock and it's got the rewind code. And the Enforcer droid, I think that's way down on the bestseller list too. That's right down there with the Artillery Stormtrooper, which is another one. The Mustard Trooper, as he's affectionately known, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's sitting down there, and I'm a little shocked at that one too. A lot of people like their troopers,
Well, and here's an interesting one because you're talking about the 2-pack Boba Fett. So, and I think with that one, that was one of the more recent ones. I do think that one will be gone sooner than we think. On that one. But again, this is coming out now. This is Boba Fett and the Throne. Also, in the fourth quarter of this year, when the Luke is coming out, when the Pedro Pascal A Crow-Plated Mandalorian is coming out. So you have to wonder. Now, like I said, I think with the 2-pack Boba Fett, it's very, very recent. I think it's right on that timeline. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But if you're Sideshow and I'm Hot Toys, I'm like, hey, so how many of these are you ordering safety stock over the pre-orders of Boba Fett on the Throne, which is what, 385? It's a good penny.
390.
390. How many are you going to get?
Oh man, I don't know.
This is another scene that's epic to me, though. I will be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not as epic as the Luke, but it's up there to see Boba Fett come back.
Here's a piece of reality for this figure, and I'm glad you pulled this up, Aries, because I was going to bring this particular figure up, and I'm sure you've been paying attention to the bestseller list just like me on a daily basis. This figure has been slowly, clandestinely creeping up the charts.
It has,
I mean, if you
if
you look at it right now, it is right behind Cad Bane. It is ahead of Anakin.
Everything Boba Fett. Look, everything. So much for the Book of Boba Fett series not being. I point this out, Brent, and I know you've been in news for decades.
Mm-hmm.
It was up 36% from what we were talking about, the emotional, epic finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. So that's all that people remember was the finale and how awesome the Book of Boba Fett was. It's Boba Fett.
It is. It's Boba Fett on a throne. And as you know, 4 months ago, this particular piece was a bottom feeder, man. It was down there real close to the bottom of the bestsellers. But, I wonder how much the popularity and the quick sellout of the Arena Fett has boosted people's interest in wanting to make sure that they don't miss out on this. Maybe they figured, you know what? Boba Fett sell out, FOMO sets in. I need to get this thing.
Well, you bring up a good point, but before I get into that point, I must give a shout out to OG Fan because he always says Boba Fett is the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Must get all Boba Fetts, and I know he's listening. So another shout out to you because you just set me up, Brent, when you're saying about all these people needing all the Boba Fetts. I think that's a great point, and I think that you're right, Brent, that it does play a big factor into these. And then I'm going to give you something else on top of this to get your thoughts. So when you take the Dark Trooper, for instance, here's what's scary about the Dark Trooper, which I think is less scary about this. When this came out, though, this was number one for like 4 or 5 weeks. It was like number one for 5 weeks, like the DX Luke. So it was a number one. And then a lot of times when you're number one that long, everyone's pre-ordered it. all the new figures that start coming out, it kind of drops down a little bit. This did drop, to your point, way more than I thought it would, to be honest with you. But good point. But it wasn't like it was the hottest thing in town when they announced that it was #1 for 5 weeks. And when you look though at the Dark Trooper, and not to digress, it didn't even break the top 10. It came out, people are like, It was like, okay, made it to like a 12, 11, and went all the way down the toilet. How many of those could they actually make? I can see them making way more of these. I don't really think they made that many of that Dark. I'm just being honest with you. It didn't even crack the top 10 ever.
No, I think the Dark Trooper is going to make a lot of people's lives go dark when they wait too long.
Buddy.
Yeah, when they wait too long to snag that figure, and next thing you know, you wake up one morning and you see Waitlist open next to it, and then the profanities start flying out of your face hole. Right? I mean, that's usually how that's going to go. But you're right. I mean, I think they made a lot less of the Dark Trooper than they did the Boba Fett, because of the popularity of Boba Fett. And research shows, data probably shows, that people buy up all the Boba Fetts. I mean, it's just simple reality. I don't, I mean, the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary is gone, right? That's not sitting there with a coupon next to it, is it? So,
No.
I mean, all of them will be gone at some point, because it is Boba Fett. And
100% right. I mean, it's
Yep.
just I mean, look at how awesome this looks. I can't wait. I talk about it'll be real interesting with this, because there's another figure, and you have to wonder. I actually think that she can get moved up, and I think it would be absolutely perfect if it is. We talk about the figures that go ahead, Brent, and get moved up. We talk about figures that get delayed. Well, they have moved figures up before, like that Boba Fett 2-pack that we didn't think was going to be coming out, in Hong Kong when it did. But where is she? Where is my Fennec Shand? Man, I mean,
she's way down. Yep.
way down. And before we look at the picture, April 2023 to June 2023. But I could actually see a scenario where it's like they actually move her up. I would love it to be able to get. I'm gonna hate waiting for this. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna hate waiting. Look at that.
It looks
I'm gonna
outstanding.
hate waiting for her.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And if you're getting that Boba Fett repaint with the throne, you have to have this figure too.
It's too long of a wait. Oh, it's too long for her. Oh my God.
I can see her starting to slowly creep back up the bestseller list once the final production photos of the Boba Fett repaint on the throne become available, because then that's going to spark interest in people getting that, and then they're going to be thinking, well, I need to get her too. But at some point, she's going to start creeping back up too. But what a great character! And yeah, I pre-ordered her. I'm so pumped to get that figure. Absolutely.
Oh, I wanted more of that other picture that I have, but I clicked the wrong thing. She looks incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
I cannot wait to get this. And yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, there's the Spotchka, baby. Come on. Oh my God. As I drink up Spotchka over here, make sure you guys all out there and you gals are smashing the 6-scale Cantina like button, baby. And you're watching the Dark Jedi here on this market show with special guest, the Star Wars newsman, Brent, a longtime supporter of the channel. And I can actually see, can you see them delaying this so they put her out at the same time, or do you see her moving her up? I can see both ways. Do you see them just not caring and like, we're going to make you wait?
I can see them moving this up. They've moved up some figures already this year. They moved up the Clone Wars Darth Maul. That was supposed to come out I think originally right about now, July-ish of this
Yeah, that
year.
was really weird. Because
I got it in April.
They pushed it out, and then they pushed it back to April. It was actually pushed out, and it was sitting in there. But much like we're talking about Bo-Katan, which is a great point that you bring up about that, because I get messages, Aries, the Bo-Katan's delayed. And it's funny you brought up Clone Wars Mall, because I say to them, hey, remember the Clone Wars Mall was delayed, and then a month later it came out. Why did they even do that? And I don't know, Brent, if it was what we aforementioned talking about, if it was stuck in shipping, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, we're able to get this container order out. It's going to be, leaving the dock sooner than we think, or who knows? I mean, so just because Bo-Katan now says all the way up it could possibly be fourth quarter, we could get her tonight, like the Clone Wars Mall. So that's a good point, my friend.
No, you're right. I mean, some sort of manna from heaven must have fell on Sideshow or something. A boat must have put on maybe they put the boxes on a dinghy and shoved it off, to get it there quicker. Because you're right. I mean, it was pushed out, and then suddenly I'm getting a notice saying Darth Maul is shipping next Tuesday. Have your credit card information ready to go. I'm like, what is this? I literally haven't even deleted the emails saying that the figure got pushed out yet. Now I'm being told I'm getting it. So, but yeah, I mean, we could wake up tomorrow morning to some Bo-Katan final production photos. There's no doubt about that. And we're ready for another announcement. I think we're all still coming down from the battle damage Vader high that we were on 2 weeks ago. I mean, that was just crazy. But I think we're ready to see something new. There's another great one right there. Look at that. Look at that sculpt.
I am ready for her. I am so ready for her. Oh, look at this. I mean, come on. So, like, can you even? Here's another reason why I'm bringing Casca Reeves up, because she does go really, really well with Bo-Katan from all this finale service that we're going to be getting with the aforementioned crow-plated Pedro Pascal Mandalorian, from the Luke Skywalker that we talked about from the Mandalorian finale, right? And from those figures that we're getting. So you do have to wonder. This would be amazing. They look so damn good together.
Yeah, dude. They do. I bet you it's the same body too, don't you think?
Yeah, I actually agree. Yeah, it's good. I never thought of that, but I bet you
cost-saving move. I mean, that's probably exactly what they did here. It's just they both look like they're the same height. So I think it's the same body with two different head sculpts on it, and I'm fine with that. I mean, no complaints whatsoever.
You're speaking my language. You're brought up a very, very good point, and not one that I hear too much often, or maybe because I just wasn't paying attention or haven't been on. But you said cost-saving body. I mean, honestly, you change a little bit of the armor, you put a little bit of padding here and there, bada boom, bada bing, it's the same damn thing. You switch the head sculpt, you change the paint, you talk about saving R&D. This is the kind of stuff that they do. And that won't be the last time you see Katie Sackhoff. And obviously, they're invested in Casca Reeves and Sasha Banks. I'm sorry, her regular acting name. So into WWE, I just keep thinking Sasha. It won't be the last time you see her either, because she's going to have a giant role in The Mandalorian season 3. So, and I would buy every version of Casca Reeves and every version of Bo-Katan that they would put out.
Oh, I think I'm with you. I don't see any way around not doing that. These are two great characters. They're both going to have great character arcs. Obviously, Bo-Katan's arc is a little bit more developed and along further than Casca's, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Casca gets a little bit more face time and some backstory and is involved in some key plot scenarios in Mandalorian season 3 that will make this figure, just pop off the page and be something that everybody wants. No question about that in my mind.
Man, I could see some of these figures being delayed to pair off. I could see no change at all. It just comes out where they said it. I could also see them, like we're talking about, being moved up. This is very, very important, to the finale scene. And you also have to wonder, you know, they are going to have The Mandalorian season 3 is coming out in February, Brent. So I don't know. They could do it either way. They could wait on some of these figures. I feel like they may do that with the Blurg, which we talk about the Dark Trooper not being up near number 1. I think the Blurg made it to like 15 or 16 and then went all the way down past the Jet Troopers.
Which is, jeez,
scary.
You're past the
stuff.
Jet Troopers. That's not good.
So let me ask you this. Let's play this game as we're talking here. I'm Hot Toys. You're a Sideshow. And I want to say hi, Sideshow. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I gotta ask you. You have to wonder with this being less than the Jet Trooper and the figure that's least the least selling figure odd here. How many discount codes Sideshow are you willing to I'm Hot Toys. Hey, buy a lot of these because you could put a 10% and free shipping on it in a year because you're sitting on them. So how many you want to order off us?
Oh my gosh. Such a great question. And
I don't care how popular The Mandalorian gets with season 3, because right now The Mandalorian, even with all the different Marvel shows and this show and that show, is still the number 1 show anywhere.
Yep.
And all that people talk about. It's not going to help this figure. It just, people aren't interested as much. So there are people in here that are interested. A lot of people that are. I'm talking about vast majority. It's just like they're just not buying it.
Well,
I don't see it changing.
It's more of a statue, I think, than a figure. And maybe that could be a rub for some people. They would rather have it be a figure. But then again, back in the day, Sideshow put out its Tauntaun, and that was a statue and not a figure, but a lot of people got that. They put out the Dewback, if you remember that, back in the late 2000s, and that was more of a statue and not a figure. So that it's very similar to this particular piece. I don't think Sideshow has many of these. I really don't think they got into a lot of this. We have not seen this animal, this species at all in season 2. We may not see it again. I don't know. And that may be a part of it. Quill is dead. So dead and gone. I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot. I don't think Sideshow got a whole lot of those at all. I think they're going to meet their pre-order responsibilities. And if there's any in stock after that, it'll be short-lived.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I got to go back to sorting that out. I just speak about Quill, the character being dead. And unfortunately, the figure is also dead. No, I mean, seriously, dude. I mean, it really, really is. And it's sad. And it'll go up once the final production. And I'm getting that figure. I'm getting the Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
But gosh, he's not even, maybe he is up here and I'm missing it. Nope, not even there. Let me go to the second page. Where in the world is Quill? So least best-selling figure, Blurg. Second
right
least
above where
OG.
you're at. Yeah.
So he is only 2 spots ahead of the Jet Trooper.
Yeah.
2 and below. I mean, how many of this are you going to order? If you're Sideshow.
I think the numbers are low. I think they're taking a look. They've got to take a look at their pre-order data, which clearly has gone down. It probably popped early, but it has not had any life whatsoever. This figure has been this far down on the bestseller list for months.
It never made it past 11. I remember it went up to number 11 best-selling and went down the toilet. It wasn't even close to anywhere in the top 10, which is crazy, isn't it?
It got released. I think the timing and circumstances of the announcement and release of this figure might have been wrong. I'm not sure when the right timing and circumstances would have been, but this figure was released amidst all of these Boba Fetts when they were
actually, and it's a good point. It was actually released in the midst of the Epic, which turned out not to be Epic, but the Epic announcement of this figure from
General Kenobi! You are a bold one.
So that was May 4th of 20.
Yeah. And everyone was all on Grievous. And these blurgs and that came out. The one that got hoopla from Hot Toys was Echo from the Bad Batch, which made it up to number 2. I remember watching it because Grievous was number one for weeks. And Echo was number 2. People well received Echo. But this made it to number 11 and went down the toilet. I forget about the blurg. I think it was 16.
Sideshow's announcement of Grievous, and I remember Grievous was number 1 overall for a very long time, right? And that eclipsed and made Quill just not really be able to gather a whole lot of momentum for people. I mean, it's I love this character. I'm with you. I'm getting it. There's no doubt about it. I'm getting the blurg too. And, we'll see what happens with them when the production photos are revealed. The blurg is supposed to be, I believe it's supposed to be shipping right now, isn't it? Isn't that the original time frame of that?
Yeah, it is. And absolutely, it's supposed to be right now. Are the blurg? I could actually see them trying to delay these to get more pre-orders until the Mandalorian season 3, because that'll get a lot of hype. And a Mandalorian figure, and I'm really into the Mandalorian, and season 3 is looking great, and it's so exciting. I think I'm going to buy a blurg to celebrate. I think I'm going to buy a Quill. I think I'm going to get another OG Mando. I could absolutely, Brent, see them doing that. I've been talking about. I'm not saying that they're going to, but if they want to sell more pre-orders on it, I really think they have to wait till the huge hype train of the Mandalorian, and people by default would buy it, because what happens when you get excited about a particular thing, you start wanting to buy everything with it. Yeah, they release it now. Like I said, it doesn't need any help with the hype to Mandalorian, but they obviously aren't selling 50 of these a day. Where it's positioned right now inside.
I think he's completely forgotten about. He's completely an afterthought right now. And we're never going to see him again in the program unless they do some sort of flashback type elements. But we could see blurgs again. I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess there's no reason why we couldn't.
I think that they were originally in the Ewoks, or one of the cartoons are actually in the Ewok movie, and it was not called the blurg, but it was the same exact creature. But Dorica says, I'd rather have a frog lady over the Quill. No, a lot of people will. I mean, I personally can't wait to have a frog lady. I'll take the frog lady too, and Quill. I'll take both of these figures. But I think a lot of people feel like him, to be completely honest with you, Brent, because of the way it's selling. Otherwise, it would be selling if not a whole lot of people felt about that.
No, that's right. Absolutely. I don't see anything coming anytime soon. Maybe when what is the time frame for shipping on Quill? Did you pull that up?
I could look at that here again, going back to it. I went back. It's telling me to hold up again. It keeps doing that to me. Let me see if I, and I don't know why. Let me go back to this. It'll load again, but I think it's
August, September.
You got it. Yeah. So there
I just pulled it up.
It can be tonight. September.
Yep.
It can literally be tonight. But here's another thing, because we were talking about how many Mandos we're going to order, right? So here's how we're going to tie this up in a nice bow for everybody, because I'm going to go now to this figure, because you were talking about they're not going to make, and I'm saying they're not going to make that many of the chrome-plated Mandalorian, correct? Because of the Beskar.
Yes. They learned.
Well, what about the OG Mando for $560 on top of an animal that seems like nobody in the majority wants to buy? How many of these are you going to buy if you were Sideshow and I'm Hot Toys?
Oh my! Another great question. I don't think you buy a whole lot. But then again, there's a lot of people out there that maybe didn't get the OG Mando, and this is their last chance to get him. I mean, there's nothing different on this particular figure than the original OG Mando, right? Is it coming with anything beyond what we got with the OG version of this?
I would think the pants have to be a little bit different to be able to get him to saddle this beast, because I think I would split the pants on the OG Mando. Um, so I would think maybe that's different, but other than that, honestly, it's really a reissue in my view.
It's a complete reissue, and it's, you're getting it, and look at the price point, $560 for that. So after shipping and taxes, and sideshow shipping is always so obscene. So on a heavy piece like that, I bet you it's $50 to ship that thing. So you're looking at well over $600 there, Aries, maybe in the $650 range just to get it in at your house. I mean, you're right. How many of that particular piece right there does Sideshow have available for people to pre-order, or maybe have a few extras beyond that for when if it gets into stock at all? Yeah, I don't know. Not many.
I think that this set's going to be unbelievable. I think the quill is going to be unbelievable. I think the blurg is going to be unbelievable, especially when people see the photos. My point with this, Brent, is as we're wrapping this up, there's only so much you're going to. I just don't see them ordering tons of these. Again, even if people are pre-ordering a lot of figures, like you could take the DX25. Oh, when that Bespin Luke comes out. Just like a lot of people pre-order the arena suit Boba Fett. But let's just be quite frank here. They're obviously making concessions. They don't want to have a year like they had this year with giving away all this stuff with free shipping, which is why I think on a lot of these that we're bringing up, it may not be as many that they are ordering as we think, or certainly nowhere near as much as what they had this year.
No, I mean, the last thing Sideshow wants to do is offer all that free shipping and offer these coupons. I mean, that is a telltale sign of fail. Somewhere along the way, something didn't go as forecast, right? From a budgetary standpoint or from a consumer need standpoint. And somebody's somebody's in the red and they don't want to be. And that gets us back to what we were talking about a little while back. So I think you're right. I don't think that there's a whole lot of these that are going to be available. If you've pre-ordered it, you're getting one. That's done. But if you want this, you might want to check your budget to see if you can squeeze out the pennies to be able to add this to your collection, because I just don't think there's a whole lot of them that are going to exist.
No, I really, really don't as well. And can you believe it in here? We've got 80 in here. Did you smash the like button? But Brent, we're coming up here on 10 o'clock. And I'm telling you, this was a fun show. We're at 2 hours and 17 minutes. I try and I know you've got work. I've got work. I think we need to wrap this up. But man, I had a very fun time with you talking Star Wars. We got to do this again.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to having you on the paddle. But what a great conversation around Star Wars and Hot Toys. I think we're going to have a very interesting next few months for sure, my friend.
I cannot wait to join you for more of these areas. You just let me know and I'll be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So much fun. Everybody in here, you have just watched the Market Show live. What riveting conversation we just had with the Star Wars newsman, my friend Brent. My goodness gracious, we're coming up on 2 hours and 20 minutes. And listen, if this is the first time you're watching Six Scale Cantina, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate your support. And Brent, I think they should hit the like button. I think this was a pretty good show. Certainly worthy of a like. Don't you agree?
I think it's more than worthy of a like. Yes, I think they need to lean on that like button right now and get into watching this show, because it's some of the best Star Wars 6 scale content you're going to find. And Aries, you're the man. You are the man.
Well, Brent, you're the man. I appreciate that with this show and doing this. Real quickly, everybody, don't forget to bookmark sixscalecantina.com. You see the latest show, and we didn't get to talk about hardly anything up in here, so I'm going to have to reuse this banner. I think I'm going to redo the banner to something else and save this, because we got to talk about absolutely nothing that we were supposed to. So I get to save this banner, which is going to save me some work, because I do want to talk about New York Comic Con. I do want to talk about Dark Side Anakin. I do want to talk about the white prototype Boba Fett. I do. I at least could go ahead and play the clip. Want to talk about the Hoth? We're talking about Beast of the Blurg. As I fill up table 44, want to talk the hell about this.
Right, I'll see you shortly. There's a meteorite that hit the ground near here. I want to check it out. It won't take long.
But to no avail, I get to save this batter. I'll probably redo this one for everyone who's going to be watching the show. And for those of you, we got a lot of insiders in here. If you want to become a Cantina insider, at it's a really, there's no tiers. It's a very small price. I do all kinds of crazy stuff. Go right here to 6 Scale Cantina. Look at some of the batters. The latest show is a crazy unboxing live. You see Chirrut Imwe on the screen. I unboxed it live, all while talking about the beginning of Grails for Hot Toys, and especially with Star Wars. And it was an epic show. If you go ahead and join the channel, you can watch that show. There was so many in the Cantina. You could also watch a lot of shows I put up, like Dark Sisters. You see Azaj Ventress. You see Darth Talon. You see Darkside Ray. You can see my Boba Fett 2-pack crazy unboxing. You can see my Jango Fett crazy unboxing. And yes, insiders asking, I will be getting up. The 40th anniversary was unboxed. I just got to get into double screen stuff and merge it. I will be putting that stuff up. But you could also just click the little join button, see everything that it comes with if you want to join. Appreciate the support for sure. But Brent, I got to let you go. I kept you out here too much. But I can't wait to do it again, my friend. Definitely a fun time.
It's amazing how quickly time flies when you're having fun and talking Hot Toys and Star Wars, right?
Absolutely. Well, you know what, Brent? I don't always buy coffee or spotchka out. But when I do, I get it from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends. See you soon.
Thank you.